Good evening, everyone. My name is Midnight Cloud, your host for tonight's bedtime story. This evening, I bring you a haunting story from the town of San Jose de Chimbo, a place with secrets buried deep within the dark. Now, this story has been requested by one of our viewers, and thank you so much. I am very excited to talk about the story of the Guaganco, as I was told that's how you say it. So tuck yourself in and get comfortable, because a long time ago in that town of San Jose de Chimbo, there lived a woman named Floripa and her husband, Polibio. They had been married for 6 years, and though their home was surrounded by fields and flowers, something was missing: a child. No matter how many doctors and healers they saw, no child ever came, and their house stayed quiet. Too quiet. Floripa wanted nothing more but to become a mother. But Polibio, he was not so kind. Because you see, he has not married her for love, but for the land that she had inherited from her father. And when no one else was watching, he blamed her for things that she didn't even have control over, or things that was not her fault. He grew colder each year, his heart shrinking like a leaf in the sun. At first, their neighbors asked them to be the godparents. It was a way to share love, to bless other children. But over time, Polibio began to resent it. No more. Polibio growled when Floripa was asked to be a godmother for one of the servants' baby. If I can't have a child of my own, I will not bless anyone else's. And so the light in their home grew dimmer until one afternoon. They were walking home from town just as the sun began to set. The trail was lined with thick bushes, and the sky turned gold to gray. Birds stopped singing. The wind paused, the kind of silence that felt heavy in your ears. And that's when they heard it. A cry, not just any cry, but a baby's cry. Soft, whimpering, and alone. Floripa looked to the bushes. Do you hear that? Again, the cry came. It sounded hungry and cold, curious, and perhaps a little hopeful. They stepped off the trail and into the thicket. There, nestled beside a low bush, was a tiny bundle wrapped in baby clothes. A baby boy, wailing, and all alone. Polibio scooped him up and wrapped him in his poncho. Floripa's eyes filled with tears. Who could leave a child like this? She whispered. Polibio muttered something about shame, about women hiding their mistakes. But in truth, both of them felt a strange happiness. As if finally fate has given them the child that they have been waiting for. And they walked home quickly, cradling the baby, speaking of names, futures, and blessings. But the night was getting darker and heavier. The baby stopped crying, snuggled warm against Polibio's chest. He was still, too still. That's when Polibio slowed down. His face turned pale. He's heavy, he murmured. Floripa turned. What do you mean? He's very heavy. They kept walking, but step by step, the baby seemed to grow heavier and heavier. Soon, Polibio stumbled, his arms shaking. Then the heat burned like a fire. It spread across his chest. What is this? He gasped. This isn't right. And then, a voice. Not a baby's voice. No. Something cold. And not from this world. I have teeth. Look, I have teeth. One tiny hand reached out of Polibio's poncho. Its fingers were long and black, tipped with claws. And then the child pulled back the cloth from its face. What Floripa saw she would never forget. Its eyes were burning red, its skin a purplish gray, and where baby's soft gums were supposed to be were now sharp fangs. It glinted in the moonlight. "I have teeth," it said again, and it leapt. It bit Polybios' neck, and he fell without a sound. Floripa screamed and ran. She ran through the darkness, heart pounding, hands trembling. She tripped, she stumbled, but she kept going, terrified that the creature was right behind her. She could hear it laughing and whispering, "I have teeth! I have teeth!" She didn't know how far she ran, but then a new sound, a soft cry, a different one. Ahead in the pale moonlight was her home, and standing in the doorway was the servant lady. In her arms was a real baby, a living, breathing baby, still warm with innocence. The servant heard the commotion and stepped outside. She saw the shadow nearby, and without saying a word, she pinched her baby lightly, and the child began to cry. And the moment that the pure, real cry pierced the night, a terrible, aching sound, a sound not meant for human ears. And then it vanished, swallowed by smoke, gone as if it never was. Floripa collapsed on the ground. She was alive, and from that day on, she changed. Without Polybios' shadow cast over her, Floripa found peace again. She welcomed every child who needed love. She became a godmother many times over. She opened her home to mothers with nowhere else to go. And whenever someone asked why, she always answered, "If a child is left unblessed, forgotten in the wild, the devil will find it first, and he will raise it as his own." And that, my dear, is how the Guaganco came to be. So, if you ever hear a baby cry where no baby should be, don't follow the sound. Not unless you want to see its teeth. So, what did you think of this story? Do you believe creatures like Guaganco still roam around the planet? Or was it just another tale to keep us from wandering in the dark? Either way, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for watching. And so please, if you do have any stories you'd like to share, fill the Google form down below. And please check out my social media as well as my Poshmark. And I will see you again next time. My name is Midnight Cloud, and have a good night.